What's going on, everybody? Dayon here. If you're new to the channel, it's all good. So am I. So we cool. I'm excited for today's topic, so I'm going to keep it super short and sweet. If sales was like a video game, which you could probably argue it is, and you were building your character, and you got to pick from 200 different traits and character attributes, but you could only pick like two. One of the ones that I would choose for my character, one of the attributes I would pick would be the topic we're going to talk about today, which is the superpower of having good intuition. So I want to tell you what that means, what that looks like, and then how to build it if you don't naturally already have it at a very high level. So intuition is when your gut feeling is correct. It's when you're able to feel something in a situation and then immediately understand what's going on without too much logical reasoning. You just know. You just kind of look, you feel, and you understand. And the reason that a lot of amazing salespeople, especially in the insurance industry, probably in any sales industry, but the reason it creates a lot of amazing salespeople at the highest level is because they can fix problems before they get worse. A lot of the times when we get objections at the end, it was just because of something that we could have caught 30 minutes ago, but we didn't notice. And that's where our intuition could have kicked in. And so I'm going to give you two examples of what that looks like, and then what a little trick, like a little hack that you can use during your presentation to help build your intuition, so your brain starts to recognize patterns and it makes your intuition a lot stronger go down the road. So here's two examples. The first one is when you're sitting with a couple, like you're sitting with a husband and a wife, and you're presenting to them. And you'll notice, or let's say you kind of start to see that the wife is checking her watch a lot. She's just looking at her watch. She's not really talking too much. The husband's asking most of the questions, and he's really, really involved. If you have really good intuition, when you first start to notice that's going on, you'll understand that she's kind of checked out. She might not see the value as much. She probably will be the person that gives you the objection at the end, because she's the one that looks like she's not buying into what you're selling. And so when you have good intuition, you recognize that right away. When you have poor intuition, which some people naturally do, kind of, intuition is awesome. And then on the other side, you have people who are a little bit oblivious to things, and you can work on that. But when you have poor intuition, you don't notice that. You just think she's checking the time. You just keep presenting. You just keep talking until you get all the way to the end. A really good example is when you say, "Does that make sense?" when you're explaining something, and the client goes, "Yeah." If you have good intuition, you'll immediately know they do not understand what's going on. If you have bad intuition, you'll just keep going on to the next section. And then when you get to the end, because they didn't actually understand what was going on in the beginning, they'll give you that smoke screen where they'll say, "Well, we have to do our research. We got to think about it. We'll get back to you." All of that might have just occurred. That big rebuttal might have come from that small little instance where they didn't really understand one of the features of a product or something small. So good intuition is really, really important. It makes presentations way more smooth, and you can fix problems right away. So here's my tip. The way to speed up and build intuition very quickly is by using a little trick where you double down on the questions that you are asking, so that your brain can start seeing patterns and learning and getting intuitive. So what I mean by that is, in that example, when you say to someone, "Does that make sense?" and they say yes, add an extra question, another layer, where you go, "Does that make sense?" and they go, "Yep." And you go, "Okay. And which part, when we were going over those features, which part stood out to you the most?" Or say, "Okay, and then what was the most important thing there for you in what we just covered?" And then you'll actually see the client tell you the truth. Because if they don't understand, if it actually didn't make sense, they'll go, "Well, to be honest, how does that work again?" And you'll go, "Aha, They're not following. And so to build intuition, you want to double down. And in that second example we were talking about, when the spouse is checked out, same thing. When one of the spouses is communicating with you, double down and add an extra layer of a question and just go, Carol, what did you think of that? So let's say her husband's going, he's like, yeah, no, I really like that. That absolutely makes sense. Awesome. Me too. Yeah, I agree that this makes sense for you guys. Carol, what did you think? And she'll go, well, might not really understand too much. I don't really see the value. She'll tell you the truth. And then that's something that you can fix and work off of. But just by adding an extra layer of a question to the things that you're asking right now, you'll start to figure out the truth. And they'll start to kind of open up to you more. You'll start to realize that they might not be understanding things, and your intuition and these patterns, they're now developing in your brain. So that's kind of my piece of advice for that portion there. Double down on the questions that you ask. You're going to have a lot of success, and intuition is going to be your superpower. You can fix problems before they take you to the point of no return. And so hope that helps. Good luck.